Craig here from Your Tech. Today's video is going to be one that I'm absolutely terrified to film. I have for a while wanted to try out Linux. I know at the minute there's quite a lot of content creators that are diving into this space with a little bit of inspiration from David Does Tech Stuff. I am going to give Linux a try, specifically Bazzite. From what I've heard, it is the most user-friendly Linux distro for gaming. There isn't a massive amount that you need to do to it. However, I am still quite anxious about trying it. I haven't really delved into Linux that much before. The functionality that I'm hoping for is that I can turn a PC into a Steam Deck, essentially. I want it to be a console experience, but we don't have to be in the ecosystem of Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. Today, you're going to see one idiot attempt to install Linux on a PC. Now, it is just a bog standard gaming PC. Either thank David Does Tech Stuff for this video or blame him for it. It's his fault. Let's get into it. So the first step, download Bazzite. When you get to the Bazzite webpage, you have to go through a few little bits telling it what hardware you're using. From what I can tell from the little bit that I've read, Bazzite's not a massive fan of non-AMD hardware. The graphics card is a 2070, an RTX 2070, which is an NVIDIA card. So I don't know how well this is gonna work. I'm kind of at a disadvantage straight from the off. But we'll see what happens. You go through, you tell it what functionality you want on the website with some drop downs, and then you can download. So we'll download the Bazzite Deck NVIDIA, chuck it in the downloads folder, and you'll notice it's just an ISO. So you're essentially just installing it from a disk. All we've got to do now is use Rufus to turn it into a bootable USB drive, which should be fairly simple. First thing we want to do is format our USB drive. FAT32, wait for that to finish. Click select and choose the ISO that we've downloaded. And then I believe that we can keep everything at default that Rufus basically sets up. Click start. Rufus will do its thing. We'll turn it into a bootable USB device so that we can boot to Bazzite. And then hopefully I can take that USB pen and install our Linux distro onto this SSD, essentially creating PC console experience. I would hope. See how it goes. The USB stick is now complete. So all we've got to do, take the old SSD out of the streaming PC, put the new one in, boot onto the USB stick, and let's see how we do. So we have the USB stick plugged in, and we're just waiting for the PC to boot into what I imagine will be Bazzite's install, like out-of-box experience. Install Bazzite Deck NVIDIA. Let's see how well this goes. I think that's all right. So let's begin the installation and see what happens. I'll be back in a minute once this is sorted out, whatever it is that it's sorting out. A couple of reboots later, I got an error code, bad shim signature or something like that. Quick Google meant that I had to turn off secure boot, which I've now done. It's now loading into what I'm guessing is the startup settings for Bazzite. Verifying the installation. Hopefully I'll be back in a minute with a fully working Bazzite operating system. Oh! And we're into what I can assume is Bazzite's out-of-box experience. Let's connect it straight to the internet and see what happens. And now it's installing Steam. And by the looks of it, that'll be it. We just need to log into Steam, grab a controller, and that's it done, I would hope. Oh, it's shutting it down. Reboot. It's done its reboot. Now we've just got to log into Steam. Is this really going to be this easy? Let's get a controller plugged in. So, I've got a PS5 controller, but I've got a feeling I'm going to struggle a little bit to get it connected. So I've got this no-name Xbox rip-off controller here that cost me like a £5. Let's plug that in. Yeah, there we go. This is basically just the Steam Deck software then, by the looks of it. It's got the correct graphics card. I don't know how out of date that driver is. Let's have a look. So it's a few revisions out. We're on 5.8.1 at the minute. This is only on 5.7.5, but still. I'm gonna get some games downloaded and I'll be back once everything's updated and see what the performance is like. Well, I am absolutely shocked. This was really, really easy. And I mean, I should have guessed that it was gonna be easy. This is supposedly one of the most user-friendly Linux distros that you can use. I've not had to do anything really. I've set it up. It's once you've got past the initial phase of turning off secure boot and then rebooting it, it's basically simple. Choose your languages, choose what disk you want to install Bazzite onto, and you're off to the races. Downloads a load of updates, get your games installed, and you're done. I am thoroughly impressed with this. I've got some games downloaded. Let's see what the performance is like. So the first thing we're gonna have a quick look at is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. I'm not very far in this game, so let's see what it looks like, what kind of performance we will get. We are happily playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater at 200 frames a second. Now this is not a difficult game to run by any stretch of the imagination. That is a very smooth experience. Oh, wailed it. There's no screen tearing, it's nice and smooth. The input latency is sound. We've got the GPUs pegged at 100%, drawing 175 watts. Now this is older hardware, which probably is helping us a little bit with Bazzite. It's not cutting edge or anything. If you press and hold the middle button on a controller and A, it brings up your little overlay. And there's loads of options to mess about with your performance overlay, including scaling filter. So you've got loads and loads of options. And look at all that information. Your FPS counter, including your frame time, and you've got a frame time graph as well, which is amazing that it gives you all of that information. And that's baked straight in. Not had to download anything, haven't had to mess around with anything really. Just find out what the shortcut is for the overlay, and that's it. Right, we've got Cyberpunk installed. Let's really test this 2070 out. We are at 1080p. We're getting 80 frames a second with mostly high settings, some medium. GPU's drawing 170 watts, nearly at 100%, and yeah, got a nice smooth experience. It looks good, it feels good, it's very, very, very smooth. Oh, obviously it's not making my driving any better. The frame time graph is basically flat. We've got a cool 65 degrees on the GPU, 62 degrees on the CPU. This is a great experience. The reflections on the floor, taking in mind ray tracing isn't on, how slick the lights look and stuff. I am absolutely flabbergasted. Everything works seamlessly. I've got it set up at the minute so that when you turn the PC on, it goes straight into Steam Big Picture. You don't have to operate it like this. You can go into desktop mode. So if you go to power, switch to desktop, give it a few seconds, desktop mode. And you've got a few different things that are already installed that you can have a play around with. And I have no doubt there are an endless number of ways that you can customize this. One of the things I saw earlier was that you can change the startup video when you turn the PC on, which I really want to change the startup video to the original PS1 intro thing. Would be awesome. So I'm going to continue to have a play around with it. So yeah, Bazzite, what a fantastic little distro. Now there are some restrictions with this though. You basically can't play anything that uses anti-cheat. As far as I can tell, anything to do with anti-cheat and Linux just doesn't seem to work. It's one of the reasons why you can't really play competitive games online on the Steam Deck. And I think this has the exact same restrictions on it. Now, I would guess that with Bazzite, you can probably put other launchers on it. You can probably install other games and stuff. I'm not sure how you'd go about it, and to be honest, I'm not that bothered. My main game launcher that I use is Steam, and I wanted a Steam console, which is what I've got. I cannot believe how flawless that has worked. Now, I am going to use this for a while. I'm going to put it in the living room. I'm going to have some sofa gaming weekends on it and stuff like that. See how it goes, see if it's something that I would continue to use all the time, and if it's something I enjoy doing. I mean, it's looking hopeful. The one thing I am going to look into as well is whether or not we can set it so that every time it comes on, you can choose, if you sign in with multiple profiles, can you choose which profile which would be awesome because my partner's daughter plays games on Steam, and having it there and her being able to just log into her Steam account and play whatever game she wants would be awesome. So yeah, I haven't done anything comparative with the game performance on Windows because that's not what this was about. I didn't want to compare Windows to Linux. The only thing that I am probably going to change is the case. I am probably going to get rid of the amazing test bench that it's currently on, which I do like, but I think I will get its own HTPC case that will go in the media unit. And then really happy. Really shocked. I thought this was going to be a headache. I thought there's not a chance in hell I'm going to be able to work any of this out. I was absolutely petrified of trying it. Everything just worked beautifully. Could this be the start of my induction into Linux? Could I end up going down that rabbit hole? I don't know. But I do want to create my own NAS as well, and that is basically got to be Linux based if you want the decent functionality out of it. So who knows, I may dip my toe in a little bit more in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to watch one of these two and give us a like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all the stuff that helps us out. I'd massively appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Does not like secure boot.